And he used to say that there was no Qigong master or Tai Chi master that did not use the tonic herbs. And since we've opened the school here at the Naturally Organic, we've also talked about how, you know, for a while I was just saying, well, if you do Qigong, you need to take the tonic herbs, because as you're doing Qigong, you're changing your body's frequency. And if you just keep a regular diet, or the SAD, right, the standard American diet, and you have low vibrational foods, then you can actually kind of maybe cause deviations, what we call, which would mean, you know, they could be emotional or they can be physical. So emotionally, like you do some Qigong and you energize your liver, and then if your body doesn't have the right foods or the right herbs and foods, then that vibration is so high, then you can actually have like an emotional outburst, which might be on the yang side, you might be a little more angry or frustrated or impatient. And on the opposite side, it might be that you might be more, you might become more passive. So you want to be in the middle, you know, with the virtues. So then we kind of got to a point where I can see it going both ways now. If you're going to use the tonic herbs, then you need a practice like Qigong or yoga or meditation. You need some practice to balance out the energy, and the vice versa goes. If you're doing Qigong or yoga or Tai Chi, well, you have to realize that all those teachers in the past, they always used tonic herbs. They always took the tonics and the teas, and that's just as much part of it as the practice itself is. And some scholars will say, well, the practice is developed out of the ability to take these tonic plants and increase the endurance, and therefore you became a stronger martial artist. You healed faster. So you can see that they're interwoven together in this practice. And back in the day, that used to be a lot harder to do it. When I first started to learn, can you grab me that change of season packet right there? Yeah, I'm just gonna give you guys a visual. It's right there. Yeah, you can just throw it to me. Yeah, right there. Yeah, perfect. So, we used to have to do it like this. We'd have to get the astragalus and, the dong shin and the goji lotus seed and, the logan fruit. And we would have to make these teas into these elixirs. But of course, like everything else in our world has got a little bit more modern. So now I'm going to show you guys how simple this is, how delicious and nourishing this is. So if you have any type of teapot, we do sell these little desktop botanicals. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get your spring dragon. The spring dragon says right on the box, the healthiest tea on earth. And it's got, and that it's kind of funny, but I'd actually, as far as a tea bag goes, I would agree this is the healthiest tea bag that you could ever buy on the planet right now. One tea bag will make 3 cups of tea. It's got gynostemia, astragalus, goji berries, but they're all like concentrated and they're really rich and nourishing. So all you have to do is you just start with one of these. Now this is fine by itself, or you can just use this like how we do it here. We use this as our base. Okay, so again, just by itself is good. You only got the time for do that. You can do this. Yeah, we need the hot water. And now what makes a tonic food compared to just regular foods? So there's a couple things so you understand. So now Dean's going to just go ahead and pour some hot water in there, and we got our tea bag in there. You can see that steam just go all the way to, yeah, about right there. It's cool. And so we'll just let that go for a minute. So what makes a tonic herb is that it nourishes your body on 3 levels: the jing, the qi, the shen. The jing, you can think of it, nourishes your endocrine organs. It nourishes your tissues. It supplies your body with the right kind of micronutrients, lots of minerals. The qi is that it balances your energetic system in your body. And it can also say it helps balance your virtuous emotions. So it helps you become a little bit more virtuous. It makes you feel good. And then the shen is a little bit of that feel good. You can also say it's about being inspired You know, when you take the right foods, you get the right frequencies, you know, some would say that you have higher evolutionary thoughts. So most people, once they start taking the tonic herbs, usually they'll want to do good things for themselves or mankind. They'll want to, you know, they'll become more inspirational. They can even, you know, get more inspirational messages, you could say, to do good in the world. So that's the first way to understand the tonic herbs. Now, another way to understand tonic herbs is that a lot of the plants grow in extreme conditions. So what makes a plant or a tonic good for us is that it has to survive extreme conditions. So maybe like, you know, certain goji berries, there's a lot of goji berries that grow around the world, but these Heaven Mountain ones, you know, what makes them tonic is they grow in an area where the weather fluctuates from cold to hot. And it's also underneath the soil is like a, you know, like an old volcanic bed. So the soil that, you know, and there's running water from like the snow mountains that run and nourish these gojis. So these Heaven Mountain gojis, you know, are a tonic because they got the soil, they got the water, they got the climate that's, you know, up and down. So as they have to adapt, they pass on these qualities to us. So from here, once we start with the Spring Dragon tea bag, then, you know, I have these little mini packs. Now, when you order anything online, you get a lot of free samples. So if you order, let's say, the Spring Dragon online, you'll get a little pack of the login fruit. You get a little pack of the goji berries, and you'll get other little samples. So anytime you order anything off our website, then you get a lot of these little samples so you can try them, and it makes it really fun. So I love doing this, you know, these little packets. So I add the gojis in there. And these are safe for kids. My little boy, you know, he loves these. He comes in and he opens these up and he eats them all day. So these are very safe for kids. It's a good project that you can do if you're home with the kids right now. You can get these little, you know, I just got these 3 little packages, Spring Dragon, the goji, and the login. Here's the big sizes here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now you can start to see that this is looking really cool. You can see those different fruits in there. And as the longer this sits, this will start to coalesce and actually get richer and more nutrient dense. And as those berries break open, the sugars come out and they get really tasty. It gets really, really tasty. So this is just the basic level that, you know, we want to start making teas, and this is what we specialize here at Naturally Organic. And, you know, today or any day, we are, you know, kind of softly open. We're allowing a few people to come in at a time. And so if you want to come by and just try one of these, then you're welcome to come by. I'll be here until 4 today. And I'll have this going, and I have another one that I made earlier going. And again, if you come by today from Dean's class, I'll also give you some of these little packets to take with you too. If you buy anything, I'll give you some stuff. Okay, so this is the first level. Now what we can do, so, you know, that's fun, but I understand at the same time we don't always got all the time to, you know, sit around and make these. So the next thing that you can do is that you can just buy one of these tonic herbs, and you can just take it, and you just take it right in you don't have to take it under the tongue, just right in the mouth. And so the 2 that I got are both for Qigong. So one, I know it's kind of hard to see the label, but one is, it says Qi Drops, and one is called Supreme Energy. Now the Supreme Energy is my formula. Back in 2003, when I'd first started getting into Qigong, or I'd been into it for a little while, I realized there wasn't really a product that was out there created for people that do Qigong or Tai Chi or yoga. So at the time I was working with the PhD in Chinese medicine, and I learned how to formulate a product that would increase the energy flow through the body, help increase the flexibility. And the side effect of that is it increases your immune system, because the way that your body's energy field protects your immune system. So I created this product, and then many, many years later, when I opened this store, pretty much 10 years later, because I opened in 2013 here, you know, I brought this product in by Dragon Herbs, and it's called Qi Drops. And the cool thing is this is formulated by, you know, Ron Teagarden, the master at Dragon Herbs, and it's very similar to my formula. They both have astragalus in it. They both have gynostemia. They both have schizandra in it. They're actually formulated very similar. So it was really cool because I learned from a different guy, a master PhD, but the formulation, when you understand how to create formulas, then, these are very similar. So just many, many years later, it's kind of like the cool factor that they're very similar. Another one that I really like is this one. Is called Shaolin tea. And you can kind of see it's got a Shaolin monk on there. And if you're not familiar with Shaolin, it's where Kung Fu is attributed or accredited, like it formed out of, the Shaolin temple. It was around a little bit before, but they definitely are, the place that made it popular. Even today, you go to China, or Shaolin monks are coming out of the Shaolin temple, and they're living all around the world. They're living in New York. They're living in, all around the United States, and they're warriors, and they train all day. And so this is a formula that was created by a Shaolin monk for training. So if you're an athlete, or again, if you're doing Qigong or Tai Chi or yoga, or you just want more energy, kind of like if this is good enough for a Shaolin monk for energy, then it should be good enough for, anyone else, right? Unless you're training as hard as a Shaolin warrior monk, then this should give you some good energy. And also the way to look at a lot of these products is not only the energy that you feel when you're doing it, but the recovery. Recovery is really where you grow the most at. So after you go to the gym, after you train, you're not instantly better. It's the next night when you recover. So what I've noticed over the years of taking these is you really eliminate that recovery time. So you train really hard and you take some of these tonics, and the next day you wake up and boom, it's like your body feels good. You're not really sore for 2 or 3 days. It's unless you're a weekend warrior, that kind of training is kind of going out the window. It's better to train 15 minutes a day every day than it is to train like an hour and a half strongly at the end of the week. Because that, if you train for 15 minutes every day, then that's more time actually than the really hour at the end of the week. So it's about, flow progression, and you're, making a lifestyle that you're doing. You're like what you did today. You're just doing a mini segment of that every day. And then you feel good every day rather than, feel good once a week after, you go to the gym. Now, Dragon Herb has made it really easy, and what we started to kind of specialize in a little bit more now is these little mini kits. So this is one is called an athlete's kit, and this is the way to try some of these tonics, but just get enough so you can try every day. This has got, now this one, the athlete's kit's got some really weird things in there if you're not used to it. It's got the Chiang Mai antler deer drops. It's got ants. It's got cordyceps. It's got gecko. It's got some, it does have some animal and some insects in it. But these are really, really good for you. And they're actually more sustainable than plants are, especially the ants. Ants grow faster than any plant. So you can literally scoop 1,000,000 ants out of an ant kingdom, and the next day, those 1,000,000 ants are pretty much all back there again. So ants are very sustainable. And again, with the law of signatures, ants, if you look at ants, they're very strong. In fact, on the label, it's got a little ant lifting up a big old log. And we know, I'm sure we know in some degree, ants are very strong. Well, these particular ants are very high in ATP, which helps your muscles recovery and get oxygen back in there. So they improve your muscle function, improve your recovery, and a host of other things. But what might be more popular for a lot of you out there is this one is called the Beauty Tonic, Beauty Mini Drops. And it has some of my favorite products in there. So it's good for men and women, but it's also, this one's a little geared towards women. It has the dew drops, which are great for the summertime if you're prone to dry skin or any parts of internal dryness. The Goji Schizandra, which is a famous, it's got the goji berries and Schizandra. And pretty much every empress, every, you could say, royal family member, every woman that had money in the past that lived in these beautiful places always took Schizandra and Goji. So they say if you take it every day for 100 days, your skin will glow, your eyes will radiate like beautiful whiteness, and your spirit will shine. because remember, it nourishes you on the Jing, Qi, and Shen, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual level. Or the spiritual meaning that, like, your thoughts, what are you thinking about, and how you feel about yourself, and how you feel about the world. And even in times of stress, and even in times that we're living in now, you maintain a positive view of the world. You adapt. That would be another thing I like to say about all the tonics. One of the best qualities is they help you adapt. So they help you adapt to the environmental changes. All of a sudden, if you're living in Vegas, it got hot really quick. The tonics help you adapt to that heat change. All of a sudden we got, something going on in our society that's, really heavy. Is going to make everything in the world perfect? No, but it's definitely going to help you adapt to the changes that we're going through right now, and maybe come out of it with a little bit more positive outlook. Okay, and then the other ones in here is the login fruit. So it does have the logins in there too, this other one. It has the Shanghai Lady, which is a cool one. It's really popular because the name, the Shanghai Lady. It's got this, yeah, we got it in too for the people that were looking for it. We got the sweet fruit drops in here. So if you make any of these teas and they're not sweet enough, the sweet fruit drops is a tonic, and so it makes you feel really good that way. And then it's got the Yin Replenisher, and the Yin Replenisher is probably one that I recommend the most for women because it's like very good for hormones. It's got a lot of things that are got organic compounds, organic iron and minerals in it. And so it's very nourishing for women in the ovaries and the kidneys and the liver. And so it's one way to look at all these is they're very, very nourishing. They're still grown in soils up in the mountains that got all the minerals and vitamins, and they grow a lot longer. Some of these herbs, they grow in the ground for 10 years before they're harvested. So they're just, that much more nutrient condensed and put together. So, using these herbs a little bit more in your diet, my kind of spill is, I don't care if you've had the best organic, raw, vegan diet that you ever went on, and you've been doing that for 20 years of your life. But if you've never took some of these tonic herbs, then you're clearly missing a component of foods that can raise your energy level and your outlook and your emotional level up another level. So no matter how good your diet is, if you haven't been using the herbs, then you'll probably feel better than someone that's been using it. For me, I've been using them so long, I just feel good all the time. I don't really take these and go, oh, I feel great. But when you first start, the first thing is, let's just, for an example, say, oh, you've been going to bed at 10:30 and you start taking these herbs. Next thing you know, you look at the clock and it's 11:30 and you're not tired yet. Or you've been waking up at 9 o'clock in the morning. You start taking these, next thing you know, boom, you're waking up fresh at 8 o'clock in the morning without an alarm. And so you just start to have more energy. You start to have more willpower. The projects you've been putting off, cleaning the garage or finishing writing your book. Next thing you know, you're doing those type of things. So when a couple of our group went down and we studied with Ron Teagarden from, the Dragon Herbs, and he kind of jokingly said that he should be accredited for, over 100 different Oscars and Grammys and championships from professional athletes and from producers and from authors and from all these people. And, at first we're like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, because a lot of his clients are those type of people. And because they take the tonics, they can work a 20-hour job and produce a motion picture, or they can stay up a little bit longer and finish that book that they've been working on, or they can, become a professional athlete or Olympic athlete and recover faster and become stronger and win championships. So just to give you an insight that, some of his best clients are famous movie stars and famous athletes and actors and publishers and different people all around the world, Europe, everywhere around the world. So to give you a clue, maybe this is, what's missing in, some of our diets, missing in some of our regimes, our health regimes. And again, you can take all the fresh produce and you can make your juices, and all those are great. I do those. But again, these herbs give you something that those don't give you still. Okay, and the last thing I'll talk about is a little bit is something topically. And this is called Dit Da Jiao. And this is something that I make. And this is made for iron body training. And iron body training is a 108-day practice we do once a year where it's really extreme. You know, you hit yourself with an iron whip, you know, like to hit your body, and you hit your face, and you hit everything to make your body strong. You do isometrics Qigong. Maybe we'll do that in one of our future Qigong ones with Dean. We both teach some different types of isometric exercises. And you do it for 108 days. And I have a whip here. Maybe you can hand me one of those just to give you guys a visual here. You know, yeah, good. Hand me both. So one is like these really, now this is a super heavy one, and this is like a, you know, I don't want to scare you, but then you use this to, you know, you hit your whole body with this. And women are, if you want, you can use these lighter ones, and you go through and you hit your own body. So sometimes you hit your elbow, and if you get a little bruise, when this is what this has been around for. So now I know not everyone's going to be interested in iron body, but it's kind of the same thing. If the Shaolin monks and the warriors training iron body, and we use this to put on our bruises, then more than likely it's going to be good for you if you fall down off a curb and scrape your knee, or you know, you bang your knee into the coffee table. Then, you know, this is something that you can't buy. This takes at least 3 months to cure. In fact, this batch cured for over a year. And Dit Da Jiao translates to bone bruise medicine. So it's good for all that kind of stuff. Well, let's just say, you know, you have a little bulky knee, your knee is a little swollen. And so that's what's limiting you from practicing or from walking. You're like, oh, I want to do Qigong, but, you know, my knee hurts, or my elbow hurts, or my shoulder hurts. So using this initially and putting this on your knee or your elbow or your shoulder, next thing you know, you're going to open that up. And you're going to have some more mobility and circulation. So the way to look at this is these tonic herbs are good for your organs. Well, there's also a certain group of tonic herbs that are like food for your tendons and ligaments and your muscles and your micro capillaries and your circulation. So a lot of times we use things, let's just say like icy hot, something that you've probably heard of. Well, that gets rid of the symptoms, but that doesn't really help it heal up. And so the way to look at this is like food for your tendons and ligaments, food for your joints, food for your blood vessels. It's the tonic herbs in a topical formula. So you put this on and your body just absorbs it, and now it's got nutrients in there to help, you know, open up those capillaries and nourish the tendons and ligaments and get all the little right micronutrients that you need to grow new tendons and ligaments, or at least, you know, get the circulation there. A lot of times people are more in pain from a lack of movement than they are from movement. And it's just kind of one of these double whammies that your knee hurts, and so you don't want to go for the walk around the block. But the truth is, as long as I've been doing this, if you walk around the block, 90% of the time the knee pain will go away. Now there is, again, 90% of the time. Other times, yes, you have really bad degenerated knee tissues, and so again, you're taking these things that are covering up the symptoms. So you put on the tiger's balm. That's a great one. You know, but that's not going to heal it up like this is. This is going to give your body some nutrients that it can actually use. So today's topic was, and I'll sum it up here in a minute, is that just, you know, this is some types of nutrients that you can use in addition to doing your Qigong. You can get these tonic foods, and you can get them in these tasty, delicious teas. You guys ready for some tea? And then you can, you know, you can take this and you can put it right on your body to get your body some nutrients directly on your joints, your shoulders, your elbows, your knees, your back, wherever you're having any discomfort at. So I'm just serving Dean here some tea. And the other cool thing about this is, traditionally talking, this was just as much part of your practice as anything else. So a lot of times, you know, before you train, you would go to the master's house, or you go to the dojo or the studio. And the first thing you would do, sometimes you weren't even allowed to talk first. Like when I first would train with Dashi, I would meet him at the school at like 7 o'clock in the morning. And he would be there, and it was like unspoken rule. It's like we didn't talk at all until he lit the incense and opened up the altar. And, you know, it's kind of like, you know, all these little formal things. And then finally he'd come around, and I mean, we'd see each other, and we'd know, you know, he'd know I was there or whatnot. Then we would sit down, and then we'd be like, okay. Then, you know, it finally is like, okay, what's going on? What are we going to work on today? And the other side of it is after training. After training, there's also kind of like this idea, like after you just did your Qigong today, it's very important to not like, now I know some cases you got to do your Qigong and then you got to, you know, rush off to work. But if you can, the ideal situation is you do this Qigong and then you take like 5 or 10 minutes afterwards just to sit and drink some tea.
The universe.
And I mean, this is so tasty. If I could just transmit the expression and the taste at how good this is, like if you haven't tried these, I guarantee you can't even be there. But then you get to see my smile and the way I feel that these are so amazing, and it's fun and it's beautiful. If you add the flowers and other things in there, it becomes very beautiful. So let's just take a moment. Wonderful class, wonderful class.
Thank you, Dino.
So let me look. Do you guys any questions on the teas? I'll unmute all. Oh.
Hey.
Wait, let me mute all, but then you can unmute your own microphone. You can hold down the space bar, or you can just unmute yourself by clicking on the little mute button on the side there. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm addicted. I love these teas. The only thing is, I just now learned that you have actually a tonic that sweetens. It comes out sour. Fortunately, I love sour stuff anyway. But it's nice. The other day I added a little bit of natural raw honey to sweeten it. But I rather try the tonic. So you do have a sweet tonic.
Yeah, so okay, so the sweet fruit drops.
Yeah. How much do you use in a teapot?
So I went through all the different sweeteners. I went from, you know, honey to agave to stevia. You know, I went through all the sweetener realms. Xylitol, you know, I went through all, and by far the best sweetener that I've ever come across is the sweet fruit drops.
Okay.
Now, 2 reasons why. For one, is the sweet fruit drops are considered a tonic by themselves. So they're actually considered like one of these tonics. So
yeah,
not like stevia or those other ones that's,
I don't like any of that. So if anything, I would use honey, but I would like to get some of that. Also, my other question is, okay, so I make this sometimes twice a day and reuse the fruits, okay? The goji berries and the dates. So how often should I replace them?
Well, you can keep using them like all day, and sometimes even 2 days. You can just keep.
Okay, yeah, I've used them for 2 days, and then I figured that you have to change them. But is it okay to cut the dates, the fruits?
Yeah, yeah, because you can also add fresh fruits in here. You can add fresh strawberries or blueberries
Oh,
or
you
something
can.
like that on there too. Uh,
Okay.
and
All
what I would say about the sweet fruit drops is the sweet fruit drops doesn't have any aftertaste. And so,
Good.
like, you know, some people would like, let's say, squeeze a fresh lemon, then add some of this and make, you know, tasty lemonade. That you
Okay.
can use it like that.
Yeah.
Or you can, if you just make a sweet drink, you can add some of this to water and ice, and you can like have a sweet fruit drops drink.
That's what I do
A
with
low
the.
calorie sweet drink.
Do you have that in the energy? Because it's the energy tastes sweet.
No, and the energy is vegetable glycerin, which is no
Okay.
calories, but and it's, you know, vegetable glycerin is another decent sweetener, but it isn't a tonic sweetener. The sweet fruit drops is the only tonic sweetener that is out there, basically.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some of that next time I come. And that's it for me.
Which is suitable for nursing moms. Well, you could get something like the beauty kit if you wanted to, you know, like do a variety. We have a question about that. The thing with a lot of the tonics is most of them are like extremely safe. They're safer than other herbs because in order to be a tonic, that's one of the requirements, that it's safe for daily use for babies, for, you know, older people, for adults. And so pretty much you're going to be okay using any of the tonics because, again, that is part of the requirements, is they're really considered more like foods. And when you, now, especially when you take them in liquid form like this and you take it, your body has like this innate like knowledge, you know, so when you take it, now when you take things in capsules, of course, you could take a bunch of them and your body doesn't know what it is until it opens up, and then you say, well, that's, you know, you can overdo it. But when you take the liquids like in tea, you just almost can't drink more than your body can handle. Like when you're, I would say almost for sure, when you're drinking it like a tea like this, you know, at some point you're just like, nah, I'm good. So it's almost impossible to keep drinking and keep drinking and keep drinking and overdo it. So that's another really good way why to do it in these teas, because it's another safety mechanism.
So JC, one more question. So when I put the any of the tonics that I purchased, including the energy, how many can you mix them, the different tonics, or should you avoid mixing certain ones together?
No, you can mix them. That's it.
Okay.
I got to do a video at my house, and you've seen how I made them at my house.
Yeah.
I'm lucky because I have, you know, the store. But
Yeah.
I literally, I don't even do the droppers. I mean, I'll get, you know, this or my bigger pot, and I'll put the tea bag. I'll put some Shaolin in there. I'll pour some
you
cheese
can.
drops in there. I'll pour some Supreme Energy, Goji's, Log fruits, you know. And then I'll taste it. Oh, it needs a little bit of flavor. I'll add some sweet fruit drops, you know, and
Okay, that's good.
That's
That's good because I've done it, and honestly, yeah, I was on the roll. The Energizer Bunny was out and about, crazy. Yeah, it's good. So that's good to know. But how many drops of each, when, or if you want to use just a couple of drops of the tonics, how many to a teapot like that, which I have?
There isn't any
Of a certain amount.
maybe one dropper full, you know, of each one.
Okay.
But again, if you want to add and make it different, there's no set.
Okay.
You know, I've joked, I've made teapots like this that were probably $50, $100 little teapots, because, you know, I'll add, like, you know, I've added the Tai Chi drops. I've added all these different ones in here. And so it's kind of what you can do. Do you go that extreme? No, and I don't always do that. Like today, you know, this has just got 3 things in here.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's just a Spring Dragon and Goji and Login. It's just these 3 together right here.
Yeah, I have the Spring Dragon. What about the blue tea, which I got also?
We got coming in. It should be in today or tomorrow because it's still there.
Got
the
some.
thing is, if you want to use this, you want to use the blue tea or the red tea instead of this, or you can combine it together. Absolutely.
So, one more question. I know you love my questions.
All right, one more, because you've already had 5 now.
I know.
After the next one more.
So one more question, one more thing. Are there any drops that you should eliminate late afternoon or before bedtime? Because I did have a night when I first started making this wonderful teas. There was one night that I didn't sleep very well. Kept waking up and I had some.
Well, most of the tonics don't have any caffeine in it. And the way to look at a tonic is that normally it's going to do what you need to do. So that's why, like the Spring Dragon, you can wake up in the morning, you have a long work day, you're going to work all day, you can start your day off, this will give you energy. But then, okay, now it's, 11 o'clock at night and you're tired, you want to go to bed, well, you can make a cup of this and the tonic should help you go to sleep.
Really?
So normally they're not stimulants, but you have to be careful maybe of some ginsengs, and if you're sensitive or not, then you want to be careful. So,
the gecko, I think I used a lot of the gecko, and I think that's what got me climbing the bed instead of going to bed. Okay, so
yeah, it could just be that, and I mean, again, sometimes those are just, it's just like everything. Sometimes you just have a night where your mind's not settled, and so they just keep you active that way. But that's when you do your qigong, though. That's when you get up and you do
the qigong,
looking back, and you calm your energy down into your And so
I do need to practice more of that, and that also is probably very good before sword practicing. So.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was wonderful.
Questions? Because I want to put Dean back on here for the last few minutes, because this is his class, and just so he can close you guys out and do one more salute out, and maybe everyone can just cheer Dean when he gets in this spot here, and just thank him for today's class. Dean's a great Qigong teacher. Warriors filled with a lot of information and knowledge. So hopefully we can keep these going, and all your donations will go to Dean today and help support him a little bit here, and appreciate you guys, joining us. So without any further ado, thank you guys.